Hello, everyone. Welcome to Novel Hour. This is our live show we host every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern Time, 12 noon New York time, depending where you are in the world. Now, just in case you missed last live, we are doing a brand new, great big show. This is a great big experiment. So I hope you're along for the ride. We're going to share books. We're going to still stick to the regular themes that you know and love. We're going to be sharing what we're currently watching. We're really excited to talk about the week's new releases, but we're also going to talk about all things pop culture, book community news, gossip, and more. Okay, so give us a little grace today because it's the first day of the great big news show. But before we get into the show, as always, we love to let you know what's ahead. Coming up next week, we are going to be celebrating Jewish Heritage Month, and we're going to share some recommendations. The following week, we're going to do books with a road trip. And then the following week, to close out May, we're going to share book recommendations with mental health representation in literature. So again, lots of exciting new shows. But today, we're going to be sharing standout moms in literature. Francesca will be sharing more contemporary, but we're going to focus on moms in literature. After that, we're going to get into what we're watching. Then we're going to get into our new releases calendar, then news and gossip, just so you have an idea of what today's programming will look like. So I am going to kick Francesca off here, and I'm going to get into some classic recommendations with moms in literature. Now, because I'm sharing moms in classic literature, odds are you love these moms. So we are just like celebrating them here today and putting a focus back on them, just in case you might have forgotten. Maybe it's a great opportunity for you to pick up a book this weekend, gift a nice new edition to your mom, or gift yourself if you're the mom. You know what I mean? So anyways, some moms in classic literature I'd love to share with you today. The first one is I have to go back to Little Women and share Mommy, Mrs. Margaret March in Little Women. Because Mommy is the heart of the March household. She's tender, she's wise, she's unafraid to correct her daughters, especially when they go astray. Also, when the dad goes off to war, she is holding the family together. She models who they should be. We see her donating her Christmas breakfast, which is a big thing and a memorable thing for readers, teaching her girls along the way to also find strength in kindness. Love Mommy, okay, classic mom in literature. And again, I know a lot of and love her. Another mom in classic literature that I want to spotlight is Cee in Beloved by Toni Morrison. Now, Cee's story is a heart-wrenching one. We see her escaping slavery and enduring unthinkable things to protect her children. In the novel, she does this act. It's like the ultimate act that also haunts her family, but it poses a question about motherhood. What would you do to spare your child's suffering is essentially at the heart of this story. I think Toni Morrison really elevated Cee's fierce love into just a testimony about moms and how they sacrifice for their children. And another mom in classic literature I want to share with you is Marilla in Anne of Green Gables, because Marilla, she's a tad bit stern. She's looking at Anne, what is wrong with this child? She's just so bubbly and spirited, but we see Marilla gradually soften, and it really just unveils layers within her that I sometimes wonder if she even were there. So we see her have great care for Anne, and just seeing her evolve from more of the disciplinarian to a loving guardian. And it really just shows that you don't have to give birth to a child to be a mom. There's so many great mother figures out there. And I just love seeing Marilla's evolution in Anne of Green Gables, that again, even someone who's unexpected can actually be just a great mom. So those are my moms that I'm sharing and celebrating today. I focused on classic literature by taking us back to Mommy in Little Women, Miss Margaret March, of course, Cee in Beloved by Toni Morrison, and Marilla in Anne of Green Gables. Francesca, what did you think about my classic moms?
Love that. I actually love the Toni Morrison because it's like whenever you're seeing like the sacrifice of mothers, like you're really diving into the theme of really you will do anything for your child, which I think it's really important to also highlight, and also really important to highlight that you don't have to give birth to be a mother. So I love that you chose Anne of Green Gables. I also have a stepmother in mind, so definitely love that.
Yay! I'm excited to hear about the moms in literature that you're spotlighting. So now I'm going to kick myself off to hear about your books.
So actually, my moms are a hodgepodge of things, and I had the hardest time picking because I wanted to make sure that I highlighted some paranormal, because you know me, and there are so many amazing moms in urban fantasy especially that I just had such a hard time choosing. But I wanted to highlight Mercy from the Mercy Thompson series, and that is the first book in that series is Moon Called. And the reason for that is this is the stepmom of my offerings for today, and she is just such a strong mother figure for the child. So the child is the daughter of the pack alpha, and she comes into the pack. She's a different species. She's a coyote shifter and they are wolves. And it's just such a great dynamic. And she really becomes that support system for her. So I love the fact that you can just step into the role of a mother. And I think that Mercy really embodies that completely. And also she's a motherly figure for the whole pack. So definitely top tier mother material for me. Now, the second one, I wanted to bring you guys something contemporary and fun and rom-com-y. So I settled on Boy Toy by Serena Bowen and Tanya Eby. Now, this is part of a rom-com series. Tanya Eby is actually an audiobook narrator, and she co-wrote this with Serena Bowen. They are super, super funny, laugh out loud books. And in this one, it's an reverse age gap, and the heroine, horrible life, whatever, and she's now single mom to 2 children. And she needs to put them somewhere in childcare. And the place that she ends up putting her children in, the guy that is working there turns out to be a guy that she actually babysat when she was younger, and he was a teenager. So he always had a crush on her, and I can't believe that I have an opportunity to have a relationship with her. So they are so fun. It's also a story about seeing her really come into her own. So we see mothers losing their identity all the time when they have children and they're married and all of that. So you're really experiencing that reconnection with who she is as a woman, besides also being a mother. So I really love that here, but it's super, super funny. And you're getting that single mom kind of cute vibe with this one. And the third one is a dystopian novel. It's actually not out yet. It's coming out in August, but I had a blast reading this. It could be a little difficult for some people to read right now because it hits close to dystopian times that we're living. However, it was really showing that I will sacrifice anything for my children. And it's about a Hollywood producer in about 2024 living in California and realizing that the world around her is going to start crumbling due to climate change and political upheaval and civil wars and all this stuff. And she starts becoming a hardcore prepper. And of course, later on, something does happen and it's apocalyptic and she is believed to be dead. And now the book starts off with 21, 22 years in the future when her daughters, who are now living in Britain, they find this book that the mother left them, which is everything she learned while prepping so that they could survive in this new world, from how to grow food, how to go looking for stuff, what's good, what's not good, how to protect yourself, how to collect water. All the things were in this manual. And they also realize that there's a possibility that their mother is not dead. So they now go on this adventure. They're triplets, and they go on this adventure to find their mother, if she is alive. So it was a great story about the sacrifice that a mother would do and how she's protecting them and helping them even so many years in the future, and just having that forethought of this is what I have to do for my children. So I really enjoyed it.
Yay, I like that. I know we are living in weird times, but I think I would need a guide to the apocalypse just in case.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at it from a whole different point of view. Yeah, but those are exciting and different, which is why I love like us sharing, because we share wildly different.
Completely.
But let us know, if you're watching us live, let us know in the comments some of your favorite books that center moms that you love. Okay, they can be as old as mine, classic literature, or modern, more contemporary reads. See, even fantasy, paranormal reads, just anything. So share your recommendations in the comments. But also, if you're watching the replay of this, replay crew, we want to hear from you as well. So share your recommendations in the comments. Okay, so like we said at the top, we are doing a bit of a variety show, okay? So we just shared our book recommendations with mothers in literature. Now we're going to get into sharing what we've been watching, okay? So we're switching from the books to what we've been watching. We're going to get into new releases. We're going to get into book community news and gossip and more. So just stay tuned, even some pop culture things. But Fran, what have you been watching and I guess loving lately? Maybe you didn't love it.
I am still finishing Medusa, which I talked about last week. So if you didn't tune into that live, go watch the replay. So that's still ongoing. However, I haven't watched really a ton of TV. I've been reading and just staring at the wall. That's my 2 modes right now. But I happened to come across this movie on Netflix. And there's a theme apparently today because it is a reverse age gap.
I'm dead.
And it's called Lonely Planet. It's with Liam Hemsworth. And it was such an adorable story. It is book themed. I don't know if it's an adaptation or not, but it is book themed. So the heroine is an author, very popular, and she is going through a divorce. She's already left the house and she is struggling to finish her book. So she goes on a writing retreat in Morocco, but she doesn't want to deal with any of the actual authors that are there. So she is holed up in her room, basically, a beautiful room, of course. And the hero is there at this retreat as the +1 of one of the authors. Is a very young author. First book blew up and she brings him along. He's not an author. He's just working in finance, but he's there to go with his girlfriend. And things happen and it's just beautiful scenery, but it's also a really great story of them connecting, her opening up, him realizing what he's been going through. It's not where he wants to be, not only from a romantic point of view, but also from his career point of view. So they really connected nicely. They do address the elephant in the room of the age situation. It was just a cute, beautiful movie. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Do recommend.
Nice. Listen, I've hardly been watching anything either. The only thing that I've been paying attention to, and part of me is wondering, am I watching out of obligation? Like when you have something long term that you've been in a relationship with. And for me, it is Housewives. It's Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know how I feel about it. That's what I'm saying. I'm just trudging along to trudge along. I love Angela. I like Kelly. I love that they upgraded Shamia. Portia's back, but I feel like it's a flop. I don't know. I feel like I'm going through the motions with Atlanta. It's just because I've had this long-term relationship. It's 16 years, okay?
Yeah.
So I've just been riding with them for so long. So that's what I've been watching. But what I do want to talk about, more exciting things. Bravo girly. And Bravo announced new shows. Now, I can't read on screen blind, so I'm reading from my phone. You see me looking down. They announced 4 new shows. We're going to have The Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which I think is interesting.
That sounds so interesting.
New city. And I'm like, honestly, I could have thought about many different cities, and then Rhode Island is a state. So, you know, yeah, Real Housewives of New Jersey.
They're going for that old money.
That was the pitch. So the pitch for The Real Housewives of Rhode Island, I'm going to read. This is from Bravo. Set against the shores of the Ocean State, the Real Housewives franchise expands into the world of a tight-knit circle of Rhode Islanders who have deep community roots and families that go back generations. With aspirational lives, thriving businesses, and tangled family dynamics, these decade-long friendships prove that in a state this small, there is no escaping your past or each other.
That sounds like it's going to be so messy. Because
true story. I don't think real old money, like traditional old money people would be going on this show, but maybe children's who are just like, look, I don't give an F. I'm coming out here. Maybe. But anytime I hear old money, people been living in the same place forever, I get invested because just to give you backstory, Southern Charm, the Charleston, is my problematic favorite. It lends to that old money, old history, all these people, Nepo baby. Listen, when I put on the TV, I want to escape. Okay. Life is hard. But anyways, real quick, we also are going to get Ladies of London. Now, I loved Ladies of London. That was a great show that gave us Caroline Stanbury, who moved to Dubai. She got a divorce with her husband. And then she was like the star where they launched Real Housewives of Dubai, because she lives in Dubai now with her new husband. But she was like again, old money, old family names. Because I tell people all the time, in the UK, you can be broke, but you have a family name, that matters more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So anyways, they're bringing back Ladies of London. It's going to be very interesting. According to the pitch, they're saying we're going to get the British blue bloods that we love. We're going to get the American expats, because it's always hilarious seeing them trying to get into that, and other international socialites, because London's like that big city. We're going to get the Valley Persian style. So for fans who love Shahs of Sunset, you're going to get that. But now, of course, they're grown up. They're in the Valley. LA has a huge Persian community. I love their stories. So we're going to get back MJ, Gigi, and Reza for Shah's fans. And then a new show, completely new concept, is called Wife Swap, Housewives Editions. They say when a real housewife takes off her stilettos and steps into real housewives' shoes, all bets are off. And they're going to use 2 iconic franchises. They're going to mash them up, and it's promising to be laugh out loud, funny moments, personal epiphanies, and opportunities to see if the grass is really greener. Anyways, it's coming with a whole bunch of shows.
That was going to be messy.
People were saying there was some old show called Wife Swap or Mom Swap, where like real moms did that. So Bravo is now doing their version with the Real Housewives. Listen, of all these 4 shows, I will say, top on my list is Rhode Island. Just the idea of a new housewife franchise. This Bravo girlie is excited. I love my Shahs, okay? I love the whole Persians in LA. So I'm really excited to see this new iteration. Love Ladies of London. Excited to see how that goes. And this wife swap, I'm skeptical, but I'm excited at the same time. So anyway, Bravo is giving us, okay, oh my God.
Entertainment.
Yes. So I'm excited. So lots to look forward to from Bravo NBCU. Anyways, back to the show. We're going to get into some books again. If you're just joining us, welcome to Novel Hour Live. We gather here every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time. We share books based on a theme. We did Moms in Literature, so rewind to catch up on those recommendations. We shared a bit of what we're watching, but because some of what I watch is Bravo, we shared some exciting Bravo news. They legit just announced that like a day or 2 ago. And now we're going to get into new book releases. We're really excited to share some exciting new book releases. We're all going to hang out so you can learn a bit more about them. Big on the new releases stage is Carly Fortune. Her book, we have a woman who returns to her childhood lake cottage to care for her grandmother, and she ends up in a friends with benefits situation with a charming neighbor from her past. And of course, it's a romance. We see it turn into more. Francesca, how do you feel about this one?
I know that Carly Fortune is a staple in the summer, so I'm sure that this one is going to be
Bliss for everyone. Agreed. Next up, we have The Retirement Plan. This is like a funny heist comedy featuring retirees. There's some casino scams in there and a whole life of midlife to later in life chaos. Now, when I read this blurb to my husband, the first part, I saw him looking, and then I said the end, and he's like, oh, good. So essentially, a group of friends, women, plan and scheme to collect on their husband's life insurance policy. So when he heard that, he was like, huh? And then I was like, but the husbands have a plan of their own. And he's like, oh, good. Did you hear about this one?
I read this one. It was so much fun. It is just a wild ride. I would love to see this one made into a movie. It would be so fun.
Perfect book to screen adaptation. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Next up, we have The Original Daughter by Jemima Way. In this one, we have a dying mom who asks to see both her daughters. This means that one of the daughters has to reach out to the other sister, the estranged one, and we essentially see everything that unravels from that. So this is family dynamics, very literary, but I read this one. It's a good time. How does that sound?
Sounds amazing. I hadn't heard of this one.
Yeah, it's good. We also have Time Loops and Cutes. This one is a fun contemporary rom-com. We have a Groundhog Day twist in this one as well, because we have this engineer. She gets stuck reliving the same day over and over. She's eating magical dumplings. So that is the whole magic system. And we see her using her do-overs, and she ends up falling in love with this brewery manager. So just imagine you date this guy and, oh God, this was awful, but just go eat a dumpling and let's do this over. So that's like the whole idea. But yeah, it's like imperfect meet cutes all the time. What do you think about this one?
This one sounds so much fun, and it is already on my TBR, so definitely will be reading it.
Nice. Okay, we have this other one, cozy mystery. It's called Big Bad Wool. Full disclosure, we have a flock of sheep and their shepherd teaming up once again, because this is book 2. It's set in the French countryside, and the sheep and the shepherd are trying to solve a murder. And it's a supernatural murder that has a whole village on edge. How does that one sound? Yes. We also have The Lady's Road Guide to Utter Ruin by Alison Goodman, Regency romp, feminist vibes, vigilantes taking on secret societies, and obviously rewriting the roles of women and what they can do in this society and time. I know you're into historical romances. What do you think about this Regency romp?
I think this sounds so good. And I personally, actually, am really attracted to the cover because it's so different from other Regency romances. So it immediately caught my eye.
Ooh.
Also, I feel like Alison Goodman, she used to write fantasy. I think.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, interesting. We also have Detective Aunties with Uzma Jalaluddin. We have this woman when her daughter is accused of murder. She is grieving, obviously, but she turns into a whole determined sleuth because she is going to use her auntie charm and her instincts and her wit to actually uncover the truth and clear her family's name. What are your thoughts on this one?
That amazing. I love Uzma Jalaluddin. So I also read this one. It's really fun. I think it's great for fans of Jesse Q. Sutanto, like that kind of vibe.
Absolutely. We also have What Happens in Amsterdam, where this is by Rachel Lynn Solomon. There's a move abroad that happens, and then our main character reunites with her high school ex. And then there's a marriage of convenience that kind of throws them back together. Of course, all sparks reignite. And again, they're abroad. Everything's magical. It's in Amsterdam. So there's the vibes. I think Rachel Lynn Solomon is a staple. What do you think, Fran?
Yeah, same. I think she's a staple. And I love that it's a completely different kind of setting. So it feels very unique. It's different from all the same old. So I think it sounds really fun.
Facts. Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. Some reason I'm trying to find the other one, but the other book disappeared. Wait, cover is loading. Cover is loading. See? Jesus has my back today. Okay, then we have Shop Girls by Jessica Anya Blau. Now, in this one, we have a young woman. This is set in 1985 San Francisco, and we see her getting into the world of retail. She decides, I want to reinvent myself. Retail is very glamorous during the 80s, but of course, there's a story in there as well. She's 19, it's coming of age, and she'll have to learn where real confidence comes from and how to embrace who she truly is. Did you hear about Shop Girls?
No, I did not hear about this one, but it sounds really interesting.
I know you have some new releases on your radar as well.
Yes.
Let's get into it.
So the first one is My Name is Emilia del Valle by Isabel Allende. So this is a very popular author. This is a historical fiction, and our heroine is a writer / journalist, and she is technically the daughter of an Irish nun and a Chilean aristocrat. And obviously she was raised by someone else, and She's had different jobs trying to make it as an author and then got into journalism and things like that. And she gets a position to go to Chile to cover the war. And she also does that with this other reporter journalist that she was working with. Obviously, there's a bit of a connection between them. And when she does get there, besides the fact that they are covering the war and they have this connection together, there's also the possibility that she's going to find her father, who she never met. So all of that, there's lots of the history and the family connection and all of that. So I think that's also something that Isabel Allende does really well. So classic. I feel even her contemporary, like whatever new release she puts out is always instant classic.
I love her works. Again, it's like an auto read author for me.
Yeah.
She just really writes beautifully. She tells stories. I trust her when it comes to a family story and a family narrative.
Yeah. Absolutely. The second book is a sapphic romance, and it's Kiss Me Maybe by Gabriela Gomez. So this one is about a librarian, and she has never been kissed. And somehow this information got on the internet, went viral, and she now is trying to put together like a game thing where people are going to be the ones that are going to be her first kiss. She asks for help from this hot bartender that she's had a crush on for a really long time. And now supposed to be helping her set this event up, trying to find who's going to kiss her. And of course, they have this connection. So it's a really cute story. I think that Gabriela Gomez is really good at the rom-com-y vibes and just very lighthearted. So this one is lots of fun. The next one is Drop Dead by Lily Chu. So this is a romance with two journalists. The heroine is actually known as Lady Death because she writes obituaries. And she writes this obituary saying that this very famous author died, but didn't. Whoops. So she was wrong. And so now the author, of course, she's trying to rectify this whole thing and get the story from the author. And this other journalist also wants to get the scoop because the fact that this information was wrong, he wants to be the one to break the story. And they end up together at this author's mansion because she will not just talk to one of them. She wants to talk to both of them and to figure out what was the story behind that. So also another fun rom-com-y one.
I'm interested in that one. I'm like, wild chaos.
Yes. I love the fact that she's like writing obituaries. Like that is her thing.
When I heard that, it was like tenors. What is wrong with me? But anyway.
Same. Okay, the next one is a young adult contemporary, and it's Tia Williams's Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends. So this is her contemporary young adult debut. And it's great for fans of Jenny Han and that kind of contemporary. And it's a really fun story about the heroine who is captain of the debate team. She's very much what you would expect, a very studious kind of person. And the hero is the new guy in school and everybody has a crush on him. It's very laid back. And she hires him to teach her how to have fun for the summer. So definitely a fun rom-com-y, very flirty, summery, all the vibes, which I think is really fun for right now.
I love Tia Williams.
Definitely different than what you're used to from Tia Williams, but it was a lot of fun.
Sounds fun.
Definitely. So the next one is a fantasy romance. So it's Daughter of Tides by Kit Rocha. This one is also a polyamory queer romance. And it's basically, if I'm going to pitch it, a water nymph, a dying god of love, and a kraken pirate lord. And there's political intrigue, fantasy, and all of the crazy things. And of course, it's steamy and sexy.
Cover, I like the cover. Okay.
Yes.
Again, I know I'm going completely left here, but I'm sold on the premise and the characters are like, okay, check.
I don't know what it is lately. I've been really into anything water, whether it's contemporaries and they're set on a boat, or it's like mermaids or pirates or anything water. That's what I want all of it right now.
I liked it.
So the next one is actually another fantasy romance. I would say more of the traditional romantic. And fun fact is it just released, but also just got the adaptation, basically. So it's Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. And it's all of the things that a romantic girlies like. It's got a princess turned warrior. It's a monster hunter story and like hidden powers coming into her own, enemies to lovers, forced proximity, all of those things. And I just find it really interesting because this is Devney Perry's first fantasy book because she writes contemporary romantic suspense kind of story. And I find it really interesting that with her first, it's already got literally on release, it's already being adapted and it's being adapted by, I think it's Amazon MGM. And the screenplay is being written right now by the same screenwriter from John Wick.
Oh, this is interesting.
I think it's got like all of the good things surrounding it. So I'm like, oh, okay.
I need to bump this up.
Yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how she writes in fantasy. I tend to have a so-so relationship with her contemporaries. I am totally sold on this. It's got to be amazing if it's already got all this buzz.
And adaptations being
Mhm.
planned. They're not waiting to see what readers are
Right.
thinking. They're like, you're going to
They're
love
like,
this.
good. I trust that completely. And so then my next one is a women's fiction, and it's Other People's Summer by Sarah Morgan. I tend to always really love Sarah Morgan. It's like she writes her women's fiction, I'm going to read it. And this is about two friends, basically, two high school friends, and they've drifted apart. One became a very successful actress, and she's having a bit of a collapse in her life at the moment. And her ex best friend takes her in. So she goes to the English countryside at this lakeside, and they have to basically reconnect and work through their issues. So it's a great friendship book. And I just think that Sarah Morgan really does like emotions and relationships, and like they're very touching kind of stories. So that's a staple always for me in my summer reading.
Yeah, awesome.
And then the last book that I have is Archangel's Obsession, which is part of the Guild Hunter series by Nalini Singh. This is an urban fantasy series. Now, this is book 17. So this is exciting for the girlies that are already reading this, especially. So the two main characters here are Ilium and Aoden. So basically in this series, there's like archangels and like hierarchy and stuff, like politics. It's very into politics. Right. And these two are part of like the main seven that are under the main archangel of New York. And there's always lots of battles and whatever. And throughout the whole series, we've been seeing them as best friends, but we know that they have this love connection, and we're like, just please give it to me.
Oh my God.
So it's finally their time to in the middle of all the politics and all the high stakes that's always happening. So definitely recommend. And Nalini just writes so beautiful. Like her writing style is very lyrical and just beautiful.
Exciting. See, everyone, lots and lots of new releases. Okay, lots of exciting books. We even have a comment. Hello. Welcome to the live. All right, we have GME watching from NYC. Great selections. I'm glad to have caught a live. Yes, welcome to the live show. New show today, just in case y'all are joining us for the first time and you missed all the replays. Today, we shared Moms in Literature. So that was the first half of the show, because we gather here every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern time and love the themed recommendations. Every Thursday we'd have a theme. So today it was Moms in Literature. We shared that earlier. Then we also got into what we're watching. So be sure to check that out. And we just wrapped new releases. So I shared a bunch of new releases. Francesca shared a bunch of new releases and we reacted to them live here. So yeah, lots of new releases for this week, because next week we're going to be sharing the next week's new releases and so on. So that's something we're really excited about. And JME, glad you were able to watch a live. And hello. We're in Florida. How's the weather in New York? Let me know. Okay.
Well, I can tell you because I talked to my father-in-law this morning. The weather in New York is beautiful.
When you call relatives and it's, talking to my dad, was it yesterday or the day before? And he was like, and I was like, oh man, I need some rain. And he's like, oh, we've been having lots of weather report. At bare minimum, when you talk to friends and relatives, you get the weather report.
Always, especially when they're finally having a good day.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, but I know that in Florida, you're always getting
you are
having a beautiful day here today.
Oh, yeah. They're letting you know when they have a good day, for real, for real. Yeah. All right. So we are going to get into some news, pop culture, little gossip, and all the things. Now that we've just wrapped up talking about the new releases. So I have my goodie index card. You know me, queen of index cards around here. So we are going to be talking about some of the Met Gala fashions. Let us know in the comments if you pay attention to the Met Gala. Let me know if you have any thoughts on the fashions. And I just want to highlight before we move on, Jim is confirming beautiful weather today in New York City. Yes. I'm happy for you. Get out there, get some fresh air. Even if it's for 5 minutes, just go outside.
Yeah.
And just do a spin. Sometimes I do that in my backyard and I'm in Florida, you know?
I can't do that because the pollen will kill me.
Will kill you. Yes, that too. But we're going to get into some Met Gala fashions. Let us know in the comments if you've been paying attention to the Met Gala. Fun fact, and I want to say this before we get to the fashions. The Met Gala actually has a proper installation. I think I read online somewhere it will be open to the public starting this Saturday, May 10th. I don't know when it's going to end, but it is actually an experience for you to walk around through. It is organized even with the senses. So it's not just what you're seeing. Some rooms might be warmer, some might be colder. Like they went all out to deliver this theme. So be sure to check it out. Yes, I was just looking it up to tell you real quick. Yes, it opens May 10th. So if you're in New York City, like JME or anyone else, roundabouts the area, go watch it, go experience it. The theme was super fine, tailoring Black style. And it really explored the history and influence of Black dandyism, showing the evolution of Black sartorial style, everything within the diaspora and all the things that I don't even know. But listen, I'm just going to share some fashions. I loved Rihanna. I think she nailed the theme of tailored. Look, I'm a regular Joe Schmo. I'm just like, okay, tailored, That's all I'm paying attention to. Listen, I love getting things tailored. I think Rihanna nailed it. I think she looked great. We also got the baby bump announcements. She's one of my favorites. I love Cardi felt, Cardi B delivered. I love the hair on Cardi B as well. It just, I don't know. She was just giving to me. I loved it. I also loved Janelle Monáe. Now, this is Janelle Monáe on the carpet. Again, to me, tailored. I love the eye thing and all the things. But let me tell you, when she did the reveal, I was like, amazing. I think she nailed it. Again, those were just like some of my favorite looks from the Met. And I also love, Jamie says, absolutely, we'll be making time to visit the Met to check out the exhibit. Super fine tailoring Black style. Yes, that is the theme. And I know just us regular Joe Schmoes, we focus on the red carpet. However, there's a whole installation. I'm telling you, if I had money and time, I would go just to experience it. But I'm all the way down here in Florida. Francesca, what were your thoughts on the Met? What looks got your attention?
Yeah, so I think that a lot of people really did well with the theme, and some people look like they just were not putting too much effort. I did bring a look I didn't like to talk about. There were a few, we kept it short, and actually I just realized that I didn't bring any men. So sorry for that, but yeah, so I think that overall, okay, let's start with a classic. I feel like Zendaya always delivers. I think that she always looks really good. I especially love the fact that she went all one color, but also the little satiny look, which I think that could look good for some people and maybe not so great for others. So I think that she did really good. Okay, let's talk about the disaster, in my opinion, which was Demi Moore, because Demi Moore dressed like a tie. I don't know what she was trying to do. I know she wanted to be like literal with it. I understand that the Met Gala is always about being over the top and all of these things. So that seems like something that would normally be a thing. But I don't know. What do you think about her being so literal with this?
I didn't like the look. It wasn't for me. I get the vision. I personally didn't like it. Going back to Zendaya, I know a lot of people had things to say, but personally, I liked it. I thought she looked good. And going back to what you were saying about not featuring men, I agree. I didn't think about the men. However, I will also add, when I think of men, I think of tailored. Like, you should be in a tailored suit, period. Right. If you're going on the carpet, whatever you're wearing should be tailored, suit or not. So I associate tailoring with men. But also, I just like seeing women being more tailored. Personally, I grew up with women who were tailored to the nines. So for me, tailoring is nothing new. You have your dressmaker, your tailor on speed dial. So that was like a regular for me. So I just appreciated seeing the women being tailored.
I come from a family of tailors. My mom had a clothing factory. So that is like our thing. So I think that's one of the things that I really loved about Zendaya's outfit is the fact that she really went with like very classic, like very tailored, and also making something that's very masculine, but she made it very feminine. And then she added the hat. And it's, for me, like it really embodied all the things that a good tailored suit should be doing, but she made it like both masculine and feminine at the same time for me. And speaking on men, and I don't have the picture, but I did like Bad Bunny's outfit.
Yeah, you know, Bad Bunny had look. Yes.
I could ride with that look.
I would put him in best dressed. The last look we're going to talk about, and I know you want to talk about, is Halle. Get into Halle.
Oh my God. Okay. So I think personally, she's beautiful. I don't think this did her justice. For like the hair from here up also, like it was not styled properly. And for my opinion, I don't think that at her age, all that see-throughness down there was a good look for her.
I just think it didn't fit the theme. I don't think she was styled well. Her hair, I don't like the look, period. I don't like the look. I also didn't think it was on theme. What did you think about Teyana Taylor, though?
I actually loved this look because it brought like the theatrics of the Met. I want to see the theatrics, and I think it was beautiful. Like when you saw it from the back, like going up the stairs, I thought it was like like I want the looks to be impressive, but at the same time, I still really liked the whole tailoring. Like everything to me was just, I really loved it. I loved it. Plus the color combination.
Going back to Halle, okay, because I do want to spotlight Tiff. Tiff is saying, Stella Reed is saying, Halle is too beautiful for that dress. Listen, I agree, but also I feel it wasn't on theme.
It was not. It basically, she threw on the jacket on top of the dress to make it
tailored. Yeah, it wasn't hitting for me. But let us know your thoughts in the comments, okay? We loved hearing from Tiff and Jamie. Let's know your favorite looks in the comments. Share your thoughts in the comments. If you're watching the replay of this and you're not live, share your thoughts as well, because we love our replay crew. We have lots to talk about, I'm telling you. Again, so we're going to get into some bookish news now, because we covered pop culture, a little Bravo tea, a whole bunch of books. Real quick, I just want to give you all an update on what has been dubbed as a Fire Festival of Books, just in case you haven't heard what's been happening. We're going to talk really briefly about A Million Lives Book Festival. I did a deep dive on the channel. Francesca wasn't available at the time to record. So if you want to know my thoughts, it's over on the channel about the festival. It's being dubbed, again, the Fire Festival of Books. Francesca, I wanted to get your opinion on record. Like, how did you feel seeing all the TikToks coming out over the weekend? We saw a whole bunch of people sharing their opinions on it. What were your thoughts about this festival?
This was a hot mess no matter which way you look at it. And I still can't figure out if it's from Grace, the event organizer, from inexperience or like actually actively wanting to scam. So I haven't figured out where I land on that. And it could just be genuine inexperience. I know that a lot of people that organize book signings and things like that, usually they'll go for something small, like a couple of hours signing or something like that. This was a full-on event. There's so much that was wrong with it. Like I was watching a TikTok this morning about the tattoo artist that was asked to come to the event as well. I don't know if you saw that. So she had apparently reached out to this tattoo artist that does Bookish tattoos to be on site. And she was offering to pay for rooms and to pay people. The tattoo artist got offered $1,000 as payment to get all of her accommodations covered. And I'm thinking, she did that for so many people. I have seen influencers that said that she reached out to them and said, I will the room for you to come. Why? Like, why are you doing that? Because you're just digging a hole. And then she wasn't even advertised. Like, it's just a mess. And I don't know if it was intentionally scammy or just stupidity. I don't know.
Like, I'm just taking a whole big breath in and I'm just going to say this. I'm going to go on a limb and say, I don't think she set out to scam anyone. I truly believe it was inexperience. I truly believed it was in over your head. I shared in the video just my personal experience of planning a big event and having to cancel and calling it quits and knowing when to walk away. So again, go check out that video. But what I also did say is my biggest gripe is one thing. She said to all the authors and the vendors and just the people involved, she had sold 500 to 600 tickets. And that people made like an educated decision about that to show up to the event. With that in mind, I know what it's like having to sell tickets, booths, spaces, vendors, all the different things. If I don't hit a certain number by a certain date, I'm canceling, which is what I said in the video. But also if you didn't sell enough, but you still wanted something to happen, that is when you pivot. That's when you do something smaller. That's when you try to bring it all down, maybe rework the event and so on. Again, there are so many authors sharing their experiences that were invited, not the ones who purchased tables, who got to the hotel and told the credit card on file was declined and them having to come out of bag for that. The update, though, that I do want to share about it, though, because this is new. And since I posted my video, this is like new stuff she has posted is first and foremost, she posted about refunds. So the first thing she posted about refund is she wholeheartedly apologized for how the event turned out this weekend. She's currently processing refunds as fast as they can. All refunds will be processed by May 31st. We thank and appreciate you for your patience. She then did another post a day later, which is her company, the Archer Management company statement. We take full responsibility for the way that AML, A Million Lives, was handled. We're doing refunds for every attendee, author, and vendor. We are also canceling all of our future events and will be processing refunds for those as well. So she put out that statement 3 days ago. So I'm going to go on a limb and say Monday, Tuesday, because we're recording today is Thursday after the event. Seeing those statements, Francesca, what are your thoughts on her? Because she has been engaged. She showed up to the event. Okay, look, I will give credit where credit is. She showed up to the event. She put out her management statement. She put out the refund statement, and she's trying to make it right with all these people. What are your thoughts on her doing this?
That's good. I just want to see the action of the follow through. So I'm going to be looking for that. But I think that she's handling that well. I am glad that she's taken a look at herself and her business and canceled the other events, because obviously I don't think that she's ready for that kind of pressure. Organizing a book event of this magnitude, it's a lot. It takes a lot of moving parts. And she was out here like offering money and rooms to everybody, which, I mean, if you've ever organized anything, that is already a huge red flag, because nobody was asking her to do that. I think that hopefully this is a learning experience, and maybe she comes back and realizes a better way to do things. But honestly, I feel like a lot of these event organizers should just learn to start small. Do a small signing. It is fine. You can do a couple of hours signing somewhere, and that is totally fine. People used to do those more than doing a 3-day event. So
I think it's a trend of social media, and I'm seeing like all these big events and these big signings, and they feel like if I'm going to put something on, it has to match up to what is currently happening. But again, I am team small. If
Yeah.
it means having 20 people and having a brunch and just getting a back room in a restaurant and you decorate
Fine.
it to the nines and you all eat some good food and talk about the books, I think that is a good thing. Another thing I want to do before we jump off this topic, because again, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, is she also then shared a day later, this is now as of the time of recording, 16 hours ago. So she shared this yesterday. Please support the authors and vendors of AML, A Million Lives Festival. So as you can see there's some festivals. She did a carousel on social media. That is slide 1. I'm holding it so you all can see. This is slide 2, to support the authors and the vendors that she invited to the event. Slide 3, support the authors, support the peoples. And then slide 4. So I have to say, look, she kept the comments on too. A lot of people would have just disappeared from media. So look, I'm the kind of girl, I will give credit where credit is due. That is also going on. And then the last thing I do want to spotlight is there is a recovery effort that is going on, A Million Lives Recovery. There's that. I'm just going to make us small so you all can see it. They have this whole recovery thing. It's indieauthorconnect.com, and they have a list of all the folks that had participated in A Million Lives, including, again, authors, vendors, all the peoples. I will be including a link in the description after the live. But yeah, essentially, those are the people. Try and support them in any way, shape, or form, because a lot of them are out a lot of money. A Million Lives update. Man, where did the time go? Listen, I'm just going to touch on this real quick, because again, where did the time go? But we have people behaving badly in the book community, or an author who behaved terribly. And I'm just going to put up the screenshot on screen of this romance author who got online, Emily Rath. The username on TikTok is Emily Rath Books. And it is about essentially an author who wrote this book, okay, Summer Skate, Sean Avery, and it's being co-written with Leslie Cohen. Now, this is Sean Avery. This is Leslie Cohen, the person who is the problematic person. Hella problematic. Francesca, just get into it and tell the peoples why. How are we doing this? Why are we here? And just everything surrounding this book.
I don't know why we're here, but obviously I came across this from Emily Rath's video. So I hadn't even seen this video. And I know what she was saying is there's a lot of people online that are excited because it is a hockey romance written by a professional athlete, which is Sean Avery, and written by another author. So I don't know what was the collaboration process there. However, something that she pointed out, and I am no longer in the hockey world, but I guess Sean Avery was a player for the New York Rangers at one point, and he was basically kicked off of the NHL for a lot of his horrible comments towards women, especially. I know that there were some alleged cases also for him doing some horrible things to homeless people, but primarily the main issue here is there are accusations of sexual harassment against him, as well as his ex-wife now that has a restraining order against him. So I don't know why we are platforming an abuser of women. And also I should mention the child also has a order of protection against the father. So neither one of them are in contact with him. So I don't understand why we're platforming a person with this kind of behavior in a romance book. I don't want to know his ideas about romance. And this is a published, like a Big Five publisher book. You know that they have their legal departments and they have all of these things. And honestly, I don't know who didn't check their research before they signed a contract, but I feel like it's in really poor taste to give this kind of contract to this type of person.
100%. In addition to author Emily Rath on TikTok, we also have Victoria Denault on Threads, who shared a little bit more about it. I have it up on screen. And she said, there's a link in the video's description. Victoria said, Sean Avery co-wrote a hockey romance book. In case you were aware who Avery is, he's a retired NHL player who harasses homeless people, has been charged with criminal mischief and ordered by the court, mind you, to take anger management courses, has made heinous comments about his exes and has a restraining order against him, child abuse against his only child, and emotional abuse against his ex-wife. Do not read this book. Do not support this man, and shame on the co-author for helping him invade space for a quick buck.
Actually, I would say shame on the publisher, because if this was being indie published, if he went on Amazon and tried to self-publish this, I obviously, until people talk about it and maybe Amazon decides to take something down, but a publisher had to platform this. I feel like that is in really poor taste.
I have a conspiracy theory, and this is the last thing I'm going to say on it to wrap us out. My conspiracy theory is, because I know this from the pop culture world, the Bravo world, and all of these things. I even was saying this about Meghan Markle when she had Mindy Kaling on her show. You know how when you have the same agent or the same PR team and people are like, oh, I think you should meet someone. That is just the industry. That is just the world. I'm going to go on a limb and say the woman he co-wrote this book with probably has no idea anything about this man. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to go
I
in.
don't know though, because like her bio says that she's a huge Rangers fan. So that means that she's in the know
Oh,
with the hockey world and she
damn
would
it.
know. And
Ah.
also I don't give grace to the publisher because at
No,
that
I don't
point
give grace
your
to the
legal
publisher.
department should have caught this.
I agree. I don't give grace to the publisher, but I was going to give grace to her and say, like how agents introduce people, and I think y'all should co-write this book, and this would be great. And but okay, if she's a fan of the team he was on when he had all these problematic things come
She
out in the
must
press,
know.
who knows? Oh gosh, this is terrible. Fran, I think we're going to have to do a dedicated video deep dive on this one because we are coming up on time. Thank you to everyone who has joined us. Be sure to join us next week. We have some amazing upcoming shows, but in addition to books, we also talk about all things book culture, news, pop culture, just all the things. So yeah, be sure to join us next week when we have a whole different theme, share the new releases because we're doing new releases and all the things. So thanks for joining us. Let us know your thoughts
Bye.
in the comments and in the replay. Bye everyone.